On July 24th, 2025, I made a commentary video that was discussing the situation that was where payment processors started going after Steam, and Steam was forced to basically censor games out of their marketplace, or those payment processors will basically drop out, and things will get complicated for those who want to buy games on Steam. And on the same day the video went live, on that same day, I get news about itch.io having to temporarily remove all NSFW games from their marketplace because, once again, the payment processors struck. They went after itch.io. Now, they did started bringing NSFW games back to the marketplace, but they have to go look at things to make sure it's under the new guidelines that's being placed while they're working with the payment processors. Otherwise, the payment processors would, of course, drop out, and that's the problem here. So, right now, there's free games that are coming back into the marketplace. You can download for free. You don't have to pay money. I guess you could say for the span of the last 2 weeks of July, things went really, really hectic as hell. I would go ahead and talk about this one thing that's causing major concern and already causing, rippling effects across the globe, but there's more than one. There is more than one. I am not kidding. Including the censorship. Actually, as a matter of fact, I remember saying something either off camera or in a previous video. I said about how the censorship has been getting worse lately, and that if something drastic were to happen to DLSite's NSFW catalog, or itch.io's NSFW catalog, or say Nutaku, or Faku, or any other stuff that sells adult games, we're screwed. We're totally screwed. And guess what? We're screwed. And it's not just the censorship, there's the quality control where people are putting less and less effort on products, including games. Okay, including the games we play in today. And this quality control has gone from games to hardware. And it has gone from hardware to other products, including food products. And it's not good. Like last year, if I remember right, it was crazy as hell because there was food recalls up the ass. Let's go back to the video game related hardware. Nintendo lately has been getting quite a brutal downfall of their reputation. Let's look at the Switch 2, okay? When it was first revealed, everybody was hyped. Everybody was getting hyped. But then a lot of that hype turned into backlash as there was just details, and boy oh boy, you could say how Nintendo shot themselves in the foot. It's not just Nintendo on their BS, there's Sony on their BS and Microsoft on their BS. And boy oh boy, Intel had their crap show from last year when it came to the 13th and 14th gen processors. And boy, it was a giant disaster. While AMD has been lately doing things that would, let's say, stick it to Intel and Nvidia, I'll talk about Nvidia in a little bit, AMD still had their shenanigans. And let's talk about Nvidia. Now, credit where credit's due, the RTX 4070, it's a good card, but the problem is the price to performance ratio. And that was the biggest situation where the RTX 40 series became a massive flop. Well, it wasn't just the price-to-performance ratio, it was also the melting cables when it came to the new plugin for the, let's say, the RTX 4090. You would be expecting that the RTX 50 series would be better. It would surpass the RTX 40 series, like RTX 30 did when it came to the RTX 20 series. The RTX 20 series came out, it was a disappointment, and then the RTX 30 series came out and did better. Well, guess what? When it came to the RTX 50 series, it was a massive disaster. I would go ahead and add the fact that the RTX 50 series would quietly drop support for physics, but the physics is going open source. Actually, it's already been open source, and it's been dumped on the internet as NVIDIA is saying, hey, let's leave it up to the community to go do something about it. So it's a matter of the community doing something about it. So Here you go, it's open source. There was some improvements on the price to performance ratio, but guess what? If you think you're going to be getting one at MSRP, your SOL, as you're seeing a majority of cards that are priced especially way over the MSRP. Oh yes, and then you have the NVIDIA driver shenanigans that was going on in the past months. Somebody made a list of things that went wrong with the RTX 50 series, and we'll be here forever if we go through each one of them. Now, if we were to go ahead and sum up the things that I've said so far, okay, it's worldwide. It's around the world. So not only are we having a hard time looking for a reliable product, and especially looking for a reliable game that's going to keep us occupied for long. By the way, when you go game hunting for games released today, you're going to be doing a whole lot of background checks. Oh yes, and that involves huge amounts of detective work that you have to do when it comes to the games before you decide to buy them. And then you have the situation where developers and game designers, even creators from around the entire globe, the whole world, it's affecting the whole world, by the way. Okay, keep in mind about that. Okay, even if you're an indie game dev, the creative freedom is put on a severe chokehold. Like, you're losing the ability to utilize more creative freedom. And then as we take a look at the big picture, the big ugly picture, we're definitely due for another Great Gaming Depression. So get ready for Great Gaming Depression 2 Electric Boogaloo, and it's releasing worldwide. We're losing more and more of the ability to utilize creative freedom. As the technology evolves, the technology has gotten worse, way worse than it already needed to be at the same time. And then you have the situation where, I can't be the only person noticing this, the audience has been basically pushed out of the way. Like, we're living in a timeline where the audience, especially the target audience, has been basically just forcibly pushed out of the way. And doing the heavy amounts of research that you're going to be required to do if you want to go and buy a new game, because you have to do those heavy amounts of research before you decide, you want to buy that game. Okay, it's going to be more difficult than ever. Really difficult. And then let's not forget you have the studios closing their doors from left and right. They're getting shut down from left and right. You look at it overall, yeah, it's not looking very bright. It's getting worse and worse and worse every year. So how about I go ahead and say this? If you have somewhere in your household PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 discs, for example, keep them around. Or if you find a retro game at a good price, you better get it. So let's say, like, for example, Sega Saturn or PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 games that you either have in your household or you found on a good deal. I suggest you keep them and get a hold of them, okay? But I will go ahead and say, get ready to have your hands on an external DVD drive. Because when it comes to video game preservation, you're going to have to start doing it on your end. Way more. And with that said, I'm going to have to cut myself short, and I will look forward to you in the next video. Peace out.